Hello, this is Harry. I'm a trainee psychotherapist, and today I'm going to explain exactly how much it costs to become a psychotherapist in the UK in 2025. Psychotherapy is something people often turn to as a second career, often looking to move into a profession that is more rewarding and meaningful. There's also the possibility of earning a decent living as a psychotherapist, the lifestyle benefits of being self-employed, as well as the possibility of running your own private practice one day. But how much does it cost to get yourself to that point of qualification? The tuition fees are the obvious one, but what isn't always obvious are 7 additional costs that are attached to the training that you should be aware of if you or someone you know is considering investing in psychotherapy as a future career. As with all further education, the training costs do vary massively depending on where you train, how extensive the training is. So this is going to be very specific to my personal experience at CCPE. The training that I'm doing is a relatively extensive one, but I felt like that was the right path for me. The other factor that I considered when considering places to train was that I wanted it to be somewhere that was accredited by the UKCP so that I could feel confident not only in the quality of the training that I was to receive, but also for professional credibility in the future. It's worth noting also that I'm talking as someone who had no previous professional background or relevant academic qualifications, undergraduate degree in psychology or anything like that. And that was actually the same for everyone in the foundation year on my course. 2 advantages of the course in relation to the finances are that number 1, it's part-time, and this means that I'm able to continue working alongside studying in order to pay for it. And number 2, that you are actually able to start taking on paid clients on a low-cost basis after a certain point in the training. And this means that you can start to recoup some of that investment while you're training. So I'll be sure to cover that in more detail later on in this video. So the first and most significant cost are the tuition fees. As someone with no professional background or academic qualifications relevant to the subject, I started my journey at CCPE with a foundation certificate in counselling and psychotherapy. This is a 1-year course that aims to equip you with the base of knowledge and experience to enable you to go on to do the 4-year professional training of the diploma, and this foundation year costs £2,906. Moving on to year 1 of the diploma, tuition fees increase then to £5,174 in the first year, and then rise again to £6,048 in years 2, 3 and 4. That brings the total cost of tuition over 5 years to £26,224. For context, the average cost of a 3-year undergraduate degree in the UK at the moment is £28,500. Next is the cost of being in one-to-one personal therapy for the duration of training. Now, this isn't a requirement at every institution, but it is a requirement at CCPE where I'm training. And the requirement is that you complete 40 hours each year, which adds up to 200 hours over the 5 years. The cost of therapy will vary depending on who you decide to work with, but taking myself as an example, I pay £70 per session, and that will bring over 5 years the total cost of the personal therapy to £14,000. Third is the cost of travel to meet your in-person commitments, and these include weekly lectures, weekend seminars, and also 550 hours of relational work placement over the 4 years of the diploma. Again, this will vary on where you live and your proximity to where you're training, but using myself as an example again, I will spend an average of £20 a week travelling in London to meet my in-person commitments, and this adds up to roughly £1,000 each year, or over the 5 years, another £5,000 on travel. Fourth is that we're required to do 100 hours of a psychiatric work placement later on in the training, and this itself requires further in-house training with the placement provider. From speaking with CCPE graduates who have gone through this training, I understand that it will cost in the region of £500. The 5th cost is books. I did buy 6 books whilst I was on the foundation year, total cost of around £100, and borrowed the rest from the library. So assuming I do the same again over the next 4 years, that will bring the total cost to £500 on books. This is an optional cost, of course, but most people on my course do buy at least a few books a year. 6th are the DSM-5 Workshops, where we learn about diagnosing mental health conditions. We're required to attend 4 of these workshops over the course of the diploma, and they cost £80 each, so that is another £320 in total. Finally, we have application and interview costs. I paid £85 to apply and interview for both the foundation year and the diploma, which comes to a total of £170. So in summary, the total cost of my training to become a psychotherapist will be £46,714 over 5 years. This works out as an average annual cost of £9,343 or £779 a month, with tuition fees accounting for only 56% of the total cost. Now, I did mention that you are able to start taking on paid clients after a certain point in the training, strictly on a low-cost basis, so that you are able to start recouping some of this investment as you go along. At CCPE, where I'm training, you are able to do this in the 3rd and 4th year of the diploma. The hourly rate is capped at £35 per hour in the 3rd year and £40 in the 4th year, and you're limited to a maximum of 3 clients per week. That means there's the potential of earning up to £10,800 over the final 2 years of the training, before tax and other costs are taken into account. You might have to hire a therapy room, for example, but you could still manage to offset the cost of your final 2 years very considerably if starting to see private clients is something that you want to do while training. In the coming weeks, I'll be sharing more of these videos focused on the more practical aspects of the training process, as well as interviews with qualified therapists focused on different approaches to psychotherapy, as well as how psychotherapy can help with specific issues such as anxiety and relationships and so on. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them below and I will be sure to reply. See you next time.